Hello, it's me again. I am trying to be more consistent with my uploading, so I apologise for my um, lazy month. Well, not really a lazy month, more for personal reasons than anything, but yeah, here we go. Members 3 for 2 social night. Monday. This race was literally probably 3 hours prior to me actually doing this voiceover, so very fresh in my brain. Anyways, I wanted to make this race all about me and Lewis Jackson racing. If anyone doesn't know Lewis, Lewis is like a middleweight member. He borrows my GoPro a few times, and I will just let him use my camera for his content, which is, you can happily go and look at his channel. Lewis Jackson Go Karting. I'll put the link in the description. Anyways, kind of benefits more people who are in the middleweight category. As you know, as people probably should know, with some lap times I post, I am a lightweight. I am a very in the middle lightweight. I'm not super light. I'm not near, and I'm near. How do you say it? I'm not really near the middleweight bracket. I'm literally bang on in the middle. Anyways, for this first part of the race, you might have noticed that I was literally just going really slow on the green flag and waving people past, just because I started at the front and Lewis started second from the back or something. So yeah, I'm pointing people to go around me. I saw Lewis in my peripheral vision when I was on the red flag, so I know he's near. I pull over here and I'm expecting him to come up this ramp. Here he is, my boy. So now, this entire race is me battling with Lewis. There'll be a point in this race where I overtake him, and then I'll give him his position back, probably 3 laps after, just because I wanted to get a clean, fast lap in, which I believe was only a 59.3 in this race. I did mention to a few people in the video that I just uploaded of Nathan Webb's POV, literally a few hours ago. Well, maybe yesterday if I upload this video the next day to what this race was. But yeah, when this track gets hotter, well, when all indoor tracks get hotter, just because they are literally made for indoor racing, these karts, they do tend to get worse in performance-wise the hotter it goes. And that's literally just because these indoor karts just don't like heat. It's just like having barely any oil in your car and you decide to take it out on a 30-degree day, kind of like that. You're never going to get maximum performance. If anything, you probably break your car. So yeah, if I can get low 59-second laps in the middle of summer, so I'm talking June, July, low 59-second laps is the equivalent to low 58-second laps. It is exceptionally hard to get 58s as soon as the temperatures get into mid-teen double digits. So anything higher than 15 degrees, if you're getting a 58 at that temperature, then you're probably having the race of your life. Honestly, it's really hard to say. A lot of people think that when it's hotter it'll be better, but it's just not the case because the indoor karts just don't like heat. I've always said 8 degrees is the optimal temperature, as you get a bit of grip and the karts kind of enjoy that temperature. So let's actually comment on what I'm doing here. I'm tailing Lewis, where I'm actually not really gaining on him or anything, to be honest. And I believe Lewis does a 59.9 in this race. So it just kind of goes to show that the karts in the first race especially, they did get gradually a little bit better, I think, as the next 2 races went on. But there was slower. And this kart that I was in was so grippy. And as soon as you get a grippy kart, you can't have the best of both worlds. You kind of want a slidey kart, which in part 2 of my race video, the kart was very slidey, and it was actually a faster kart, even though this kart felt miles faster just because I actually had grip everywhere I went. So grip's not always a good thing in indoor karting. Sometimes you really need to sling it round some corners, just to get... Occasionally it sounds stupid, but when you lose grip, sometimes you get a better exit. I know it doesn't really make sense, but believe you me, after racing here for nearly 8 years, that's kind of the way it goes. So you can see now that in the last lap I have actually caught Lewis up tremendously. I might make a move on the next lap, I'm not too sure. He's very aware that I'm here. I do apologise, Lewis, if you're watching this, as I am putting severe pressure on you. He knows exactly the plan of this race. I told him before we went out that my plan is to wait for you and then race you. So he's probably gone on track thinking I'm going to have to defend Brad, which, to be honest with you, is doing quite well. He's leaving me overtaking opportunities, but there's no point in going for them just because I'm kind of trying to watch what he's doing and where I'm better than him. Like, again, no ego, but obviously Lewis is actually a fairly new racer, so I do want to try and help everyone who tries to be better get better, and if they believe that they can go faster than what their PB is, there is reasons for that. There was a few instances in the last few laps where I did notice the cornering. Maybe it could have been a pressure thing. Like I said, he only did a 59.9 in the race. He actually did a 59.2 in the final race, so it might have just been a peer pressure kind of situation, knowing that I was there and I was just putting him off, which is why I kind of went down the inside after the second Dunlop and took lead out of both of us. So now I think this is probably my fastest lap, which is a 59.3. I don't think I do anything wrong on this lap. It is weird though, because if you compare it to like my video where I do a 58.2, my lines are the exact same, but yet I've somehow lost an entire second, and it's just because it's hotter now than it was back then. I would say if your feet feel freezing on this track, which a lot of people do say they feel that way when they come off racing, if your feet feel freezing, you're probably going to do the best lap times of your career, essentially, on this track, because when it is cold, these cars do love it. Mackenzie Jones obviously has the lap record currently. It's a 57.985, I think, off the top of my head, which is honestly formidable. And yeah, that was done in January. Again, heart of winter. Maybe just a bit past the heart of winter, I'm not too sure. But yeah, cold temperatures. It might have even been like 5 degrees. And that was just perfect temperature, perfect time of day, and just perfect racing hard. A lot of people keep banging on in the comments how I always say all karts are the same. Now, in terms of lap times, yeah, if you can learn how to control and adapt to the different karts that are on track. Like in my second race, I believe maybe the back tyre pressures were higher than the fronts, or there was a lot higher than this go-kart. This go-kart felt great everywhere. I'm literally barely sliding. But in the next race, I'm sliding everywhere, and maybe the tyre pressures were a little bit off or something. But I went faster in that go-kart, probably because I know how to maximise the potential of that said go-kart, if that makes sense. Like, I do look around here, I'm like, where's Lewis gone? It turns out that this guy actually let me pass and didn't let Lewis pass. So, yeah. Now I'm back onto Lewis's case. Yeah, but yeah, it's a weird time of year. You might get lucky. Like last week, it went freezing. We had the really hot day where it was like 18 degrees, and the next 2 days it was like 3 degrees. And I believe when I spoke to maybe Callum, who races, he was racing tonight, but I didn't see him in my 2 races, unfortunately. I believe he did his personal best at 59.1, and he weighs 95 kilos, which is insane. Also, whoever was coming out the pit lane there, I know I say this a lot in all my videos, but yeah, if you're going to come out the pit lane when 3 of us are coming down the fast straight into the racing line, which is coming out the pit lane, just wait until it's clear and then move out, or if you move out, hug the inner wall and don't come out at 10 mile an hour into the racing line. I get past this guy again, I'm pretty sure he's probably just aware that I'm there and he doesn't try to fight me at all. I thank him again, apologies, I had to overtake this guy twice. I actually thought he let Lewis pass, which is why I pulled over to try and give Lewis his position back. But no. So, anyways, I'm back onto Lewis's tail now, and I'm not sure how consistent my fastest laps were. I might have done 2 or 3 59 threes. There's not really much in them. Like, you can see the grip I'm getting through this sector in particular is so good. But getting good grip on this track, from an experience point of view, is not the best, to be honest. There is a yellow flag here. I actually thought this would be the end of the race, but then I look into the pod, I see Nathan, Teamsport staff, he still stood there, so I'm like, oh, it's not the end of the race. If that was the end of the race, he'd be walking across the bridge right now and waving his checkered flag. But this kind of allows me to bunch up to Lewis. And we're back onto green. Now, need to think what we're going to do here. So this guy actually just lets us both sail past him, respect to that. No point in holding us up, I say it all the time. This is a race session where everyone just tries to beat the personal best. You see how I slammed on that corner? Now I heavy braked there because we had a yellow flag and I briefly slowed down. So by slamming on, I actually generated more heat in my tyres through the tyre max centre. Not much, but it's enough, and you can see by the way I'm gripping onto this wooden section now that it's miles more grip than what Lewis has. So I do little things like that. I don't always pick up on this when I'm actually watching the playback, but I do things to benefit my entire race. I believe this is probably my final lap. I may come in this lap here because I saw Nathan was starting to move around a lot in the back of his box, so I expect him to walk over the... Yeah. So he's literally going to walk over the bridge as soon as I come in the pit lane. So instead of doing another lap, I just thought I'd come in. You will know if you race this track a lot that it hurts the slower you go, so it's better to just come in the pit lane once the person in the marshal box just walks across the bridge.